ASBR Boxing. We're back. We're in final prediction mode for Daniel Dubois against Filip Hrgovic. One of the six fights, I suppose, on the massive card in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia this weekend. We've got the Queensberry match from 5 versus 5, and then of course we've got the Dmitry Bivol fight in the main event. But this is all about Filip Hrgovic, Daniel Dubois, massive heavyweight bout. We're in here final prediction mode, mate. Sometimes, when you and I do the previews, we like to beat around the bush and give the predictions at the end, but not here. We're going straight in. What is your final prediction for Filip Hrgovic against Daniel Dubois on Saturday night?
Well, you know what, mate? We said it like we said it in the preview show. And my mind has not changed. I'm going Daniel Dubois KO. I think speed and power, baby. That's what's going to be Daniel Dynamite Dubois. And we're going to go somewhere. When you called it early in the preview show, to be honest, and you had a second go, and I've had to reflect on what you were saying then. I'm actually still going to stay where I'm going. I'm going to go later in the fight. I'm actually going to go maybe a bit later. I'm going to go 9+, I think, on the rounds for me for Daniel Dubois stoppage. But I think he's going to get to Hrgovic too fast, too strong. And I'm going KO, Paul. Talk to me.
As you said, you and I did the preview show about a week ago now, I suppose, and now we're here. We've seen them weigh in and so on and so forth. I agree with you, mate. My mind hasn't changed. I was surprised at the time when you went with Dubois as well as I, because obviously I know you somewhat been critical maybe of Dubois in the past, but he's clearly persuaded you. He's got you on board now. We're all aboard the
Yeah.
Daniel Dubois Dynamite Dubois hype train. And you know what, mate? I've said as well. My prediction hasn't changed. I think Dubois stops Hrgovic here. I think he's the first man to defeat him in the professional ring. I think he does it somewhere in the middle rounds. So I'm going a little earlier than you. I maybe go in that round, 6, 7, 8, 5, 6, 7 mark, kind of around there. That's the way I see it going. I think he might have to take one to land one, Dubois, to be quite honest with you. But I've mentioned it before, and a lot of people kind of look at me puzzled. But I think there's a bit of quit in Filip Hrgovic, and it's only a matter of time before we see it. I know people have said the exact same about Daniel Dubois, but yeah, and people would say about the Joyce one, he taking the knee. I agree, and I probably would have been one of the first people to say that he did quit, but then there was genuine eye injury, and that might have prolonged his career now, taking that knee in that fight. The Lorena one, people think he was close to throwing the towel in, but he didn't. He bit down on his gum shield after such a bad start, overcame adversity and won via stoppage. The Usyk one, you're fighting the elite, you're fighting the best heavyweight of our generation. No disgrace there. So, mate, I agree with you. Daniel Dubois winning this fight, in my opinion, via stoppage. And yeah, we kind of mentioned as well in the previous show earlier in the week, mate, that you know there's the sparring rumors that have been going about. And Dubois even openly admitted it. He was just like sparring. That was a few years ago. Who cares? It was actually Dubois who brought it up at the announcement press conference a couple of months ago. Do you remember? He said about the sparring, even though supposedly Hrgovic had dropped slash stopped Dubois in some of their sparring. I don't know when exactly it was, a couple of years ago. But I think Dubois has come on leaps and bounds since then, mate. So yeah, I agree with you. I'm going Dubois. Final prediction: Daniel Dubois knockout, same as you. For Before we wrap up, mate, I want to kind of ask you a really unfair question. To be honest, I'm going to say I give you £10. This isn't the betting show, of course. Please do check out the betting show for the rest of the fights on this card. We've got a few of them coming up. But if I was giving you £10 and you've said there you're going with Daniel Dubois rounds 8+, if you had to pick one sole round in which Daniel Dubois wins this fight, what round are you going for?
You know what? I'm going to put this. I mean, you've got me committing to this now on film, but if it comes in, I'm expecting at least that £10 to land as my bank account, Paul. To be honest, but I'm going to go with the round number 10 is calling me, Paul. I'm going to say it's between 10 and 11, but round number 10 is calling me. I've just got a feeling for. I don't know what it is. It could be illness, but I've just got something coming through the ether. Frankly, that's pulling me towards that. So I'm going to go round number 10, Daniel Dubois stoppage. And I think I agree with what you're saying, everything you said there, and I also think it's commendable from Daniel Dubois to mention that sparring story as well. I think there's a lot of bullshit goes on, doesn't it, in relation to sparring, whatever. You look at Hrgovic, this guy's won a gold medal. Obviously, he's a good fighter, good amateur. If this happened a couple of years ago, Daniel Dubois did not have the technical grounding either. You saw like the career he had at Queensbury, where they basically put him in with tin cans, and he was kind of learning on the job, and he was just battering guys in round one, learning absolutely fuck all. So for me, like it means nothing. So for me, I'm delighted that this fight is happening. I'm delighted that maybe Daniel Dubois gets a chance to right the wrong. And yeah, I'm seeing it, Paul. KO, baby. That's what I'm saying. And it's not the betting show, but it could be the betting show. If that lands, I'll be expected to be on the betting show next time around.
Well, mate, just to put your just in case you do want to back it yourself, Daniel Dubois to win via knockout in round 10, 40 to 1. That was what I'm saying. So hey, you might have to
Anyone
take a
wants to
trip
float
down
me
to the
them
bookies
odds?
and put it. You might have to take a trip down to the bookies and put that bet on. I said I suppose I have to kind of answer my own question as well. I said roughly rounds 5 to 8. I'm gonna go round 6. I'm gonna go round 6 as mine, which I'm seeing odds of 28 to 1. So better value of yours. But yeah, equally, mate, if you're going to back a round in which this fight finishes, then yeah, I would. Uh, there's definitely value to be had. Just before we finally wrap up, mate, one more thing I wanted to ask you. We're obviously both going for the stoppage. Can you see any way in which this goes the distance, or is this just stoppage or nothing? Either way.
Oh, that's a tough question. You know what? I actually don't see this. No, I don't see it going 12. I really don't, frankly. I think that we've seen obviously Hrgovic. Well, he went obviously the distance with Zhang, didn't he? But Zhang, I think he lost that fight. Zhang's a hell of a fighter as well. So for me, I mean, I know you get UD, but with Kevin Johnson as well, that was 8 rounds. And, Johnson's a guy that kind of doesn't like to, well, it's on that thing where you're sort of carrying people as well when they get to that stage as well, not want to knock them out so they're out of the ring as well. So for me, no, I think there's a live fight. I think he'll also be below, obviously, carries power. Could also stop Daniel Dubois. Done that we've seen Dubois stop before. It would not be a surprise to me if he got stopped again. It wouldn't. But equally, I just feel like his speed and power will get to Hrgovic first. I think he'll land on Hrgovic more, for me, which in turn I think will keep him interested. But equally, if we were going to turn around here on Saturday night, Sunday morning, whatever, and you think Daniel Dubois has been, he's taken the knee, he's been laid out on his back, I really wouldn't be surprised too much at that, Paul, either. But I'm going Daniel Dubois still, despite that.
Yeah, mate. I think it would really surprise me if this went the distance as well. I suppose you probably could have said that though about Zhang and Hrgovic at the time. It went the distance. You probably could have said it about Dubois Miller. Looked like it was going to go the distance if it wasn't for what the last 20 seconds or something was it of the final round that Dubois won that in. I can't really remember now. Um, but yeah, I can't foresee this going the full 12 minutes. I just can't see this going the distance at all. I agree with what you're saying. I'm sticking with Daniel Dubois knockout. Guys, that is our final predictions for Daniel Dubois and Filip Hrgovic. 5 versus 5, Queensbury Matchroom, Filip Hrgovic, Daniel Dubois. We've seen the press conference, we've seen the weigh-ins. Now it's all this time is to see them fight tonight. So, guys, appreciate your time as always. Thanks for watching, Elliot. Appreciate your time as well doing this videos with myself. And guys, let us know your thoughts on how this plays out and any of the rest of the your final predictions for the 5 versus 5 card. Cheers.
Thank you very much, Paul, as always, guys. Thank you very much for watching.